Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Earth Show. And we're here at the Elizabeth Street Garden. It's one of the most fascinating gardens in NYC. And today we're going to talk about the Chi and some of the things you will do to make your Chi in a good condition. And I'm here with Edwin Morris,
Yes.
right? And Edwin Morris is a Chi practitioner, but he does the Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So please let us know a little bit more about the Tai Chi.
Tai Chi and Qigong are two traditional ways of self-cultivation. So we like to cultivate the earth, and when we do, the plants show up very beautifully. But we can cultivate our inner earth of our personality as well, and it will show wonderful fruits and results as well. So there are two forms that are very well known in the West, Taiji Chuan and Qi Gong. Now, Taiji is not the same word as Qi in Qi Gong, so that's very important. So what does Taiji mean? Taiji means the big pole. The big pole. So we believe in the Chinese spiritual tradition, and I have had wonderful masters who taught me, that our spine is a big pole. So if you carry your spine straight up, it reaches to the outermost limits of the universe. And if you carry it down, straight down, it goes to the center of the earth. So when you do Tai Chi, standing, sitting, whatever, you always keep your spine straight. It doesn't mean that it's a perfect straight like a ruler, because in the middle, there's like a little scoop in the back. And even when you see a baby on its crib, it sits erect, but always that little thing is not flat. It's a gentle curve. So the idea is that all your vertebrae are lined up, one on top of the other, like bricks. So they're not cantilevered over. They're not in stress. They're one on top of the other. So gravity is with you. So you sit straight. And when you do the exercise, your spine is always straight. No matter what your hands do or your feet do, your spine is always straight. So that is the big pole. So in Latin, sometimes in Western philosophy, they call it axis mundi, the axis of the world. So you want to feel that you are connected to the cosmos. So spiritually, Chinese exercise is not just a lot of bells and whistles. It's not just technique. It's a very deep spirituality. So the famous code or creed or narrative of Chinese philosophy that underlies all of Qigong and Taiji is called the inscription on the Western Chamber. As you know, in the old days in China, the chamber walls were sometimes lined with paper. So a great philosopher inscribed something on a paper and he put it on the wall on the Western Chamber. And it goes like this: the sky is my father, the earth is my mother. All men and women are my brothers and sisters, my family. All animals, vegetables, mineral are my companions. In life, I will be creative, and in death, I will rest complete. So when you're doing the exercise, you remember that you are the beloved son or daughter of the sky, and the beloved son and daughter of the earth mother. So that's why in Tai Chi, you'll notice no matter how far you stretch, the feet are like suction cups, because they're sucking up the energy from the breasts of the mother, you might say, and that energy is called Qi. Now, Qi is written, it's a very ancient character, and it's written with a picture of a pot with a lid that keep popping off. So there are 3 little lines that show the lid is popping off. So it's like a steamer. So the steam is going, so even the lid is popping off. You know, like if you have a lid on boiling water, it keeps jumping up and down on a tea kettle. So that is the energy. So the energy comes from the mother up and from the sky father down. So this incidentally is very much the world mysticism that the Native American people also felt, that the sky was a father, the earth was a mother, all men and women are brothers and sisters. Now, there is, you would say, well, from the Western tradition, we are not so pure. Why should we have this flow of energy from the world? Because, you know, we're just human beings. Now, there's a good ideological answer to that. In the Asian culture of China and Japan and Korea, and also the Native American, there was no such thing as original sin. So we have the story in the West of Adam and Eve being happy in nature, but you know, it didn't last for long. And the devil showed up, and God allowed the devil to tempt them, and they bit the apple, they did the wrong thing. So mankind was considered vicious and scarred with sin. And later Christ, of course, erased the sin. But in the culture of China, you could trust nature because there was no original sin. And people believed that men and women were basically good. And the famous argument that Confucius's student used to prove that man is good is they said, look, if you see a child who's going to teeter and totter and fall into a well, no matter how bad a person, they run and lunge to keep the child from falling into the well. So they say that originally we're not sinful, originally we're good. Of course, there's evil in Asian culture as well as everywhere else, but that doesn't mean that you cannot trust the flow coming from the sky through you to the earth, and from the earth through you to the sky. So you're part of that. So let me show you one exercise in Qigong that exemplifies this. I'll take my hat off because I'm going to stretch a lot over my head. So Qigong is not the word Taiji. Taiji, I told you, is a big pole. So even when you do Qigong, you keep as a big pole. But Qigong means, Gong means work. Working the Qi, the energy. So you want the energy to come. Let's say you're not very hot. You don't have much steam. You're running out of steam. You want the steam come back. Well, this is a very good example of what you would do. First, feet planted on the ground. That's for Earth Mother. Spine straight. You know that. That's a big pole. So you keep the big pole. And by the way, the big pole means your head too. You don't go, big pole, my back is straight, but my head is wobbling all over. No, you should be ramrod straight. As they say in martial arts, like you're riding a horse. So when you ride a horse, you look straight. You don't look down or you might miss a branch, and you don't look up or you might miss a snake. So you're always straight, and then it is even more like a horse rider because the knees are usually bent. For 99% of the exercises, they're bent. This is a kind of exercise for the legs. 80% of the blood is in the legs, so this is a kind of exercise just to stand straight. Okay, so the Qigong is we're going to be working it. So up comes the Qi. As the Qi comes up, the breath fills up the lungs. When you reach the max, down it comes, and the breath goes out. So your belly goes flat. Then you're going to breathe in again. Your belly gets full and fat. Up. The max. Down. And you should actually resemble a bird. You know, like one of these great birds, pelicans, osprey, eagle. The wings are flowing. So in, out. In, out. In, out. That's enough. If you do that, that's all you need. It's not hard. It's not expensive. It's not a secret. That's it. You do that and your chi will start to bubble. The teapot of your personality will begin to bubble up. And you'll be full of steam. You'll be hot. So that is the beginning of Qigong. Now let me go into Taiji and show you how similar it is. So Taiji is a great pole. So you're the great pole. Also, you're Qi Ma, riding the horse. Now the first exercise is very simple. You're going to put this here, your hand on your pulse, the other hand on the pulse, and you're going to push till all the weight is on this foot, none on that. But still, it's sucking the energy from the mother, so it's planted on the earth. And then slowly you're going to shift. It's like this was a whole bucket of water. So the bucket of water is going to shift to this side. That fills up. This has no energy, no weight. I could lift it up, no difference. And then you're going to push it back, in, out. You're constantly raising the pressure from one leg to another. And then you always look forward, because Tai Chi is very beautiful. It's like a dance. But if the need comes and you have to fight, you could speed it up and block your enemy, withdraw, and then block again. So, it comes in handy for if you have enemies around. Now, I'll show you another one that's a lot like the Qigong. You raise your hand like this, and then down. This just goes in a circle. Down, down. And keep your mouth closed. I have to open it to talk, but generally you always keep your mouth closed in these exercises. Now, let's say somebody bad is around. Well, don't do it gracefully. Do it rough, and you have a chop. So it's a karate chop, but it's based on the thing. And the same thing, it's up to down, up to down, back to front, back to front. And the ideological background is that life pulses. It has push, withdrawal, push, withdrawal, day, night, masculine, feminine, hard, soft. It's like a sine curve.